WMC Memphis, WMFS HD2 Bartlett, Memphis. Part of the Memphis Sports Network with 92.9 FM ESPN. ESPN 790 AM.
Watch the sunrise, new day's dawning, and it's calling you and me. Where the mighty Mississippi flows by Memphis, Tennessee. We've got woodlands, fields, and water. Hey, there is no better way. You can find out all about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Make some time. Take the family, ask a friend, but don't delay. Listen up and learn about it all. Outdoors with Larry Ray. Listen up and learn about it all. Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Good Saturday morning. Welcome to another edition of the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Gaston's White River Resort, and Barton Power Sports. Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. As my voice fades out, I'm getting to my Godfather voice right now on this Saturday morning. As I continue to deal with this bronchitis attack, and I apologize for my voice. I apologize for Elmer Alfarah. We had a little technical difficulties with Elmer's connection, but great information from Elmer about the wind grips. And now we're going to switch over now and talk a little duck hunting at this time of the year. And even though my voice is not good, I know that Cooksey is ready to talk about this because Delta Waterfowl, been very good folks to Outdoors of Larry Ray over the years, all the folks up north. And it's a group. Of course, we have another group here in Memphis. It's based out of Memphis, and we deal a lot with Ducks Unlimited, but we also like to deal with our good friends at Delta Waterfowl Foundation. And we have a new contact here, a new development director for our area, and that's Jeff Howell, who is right here in Memphis. And good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Larry. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, and,
Let's talk about Delta and what's happening around here with them. I mean, Memphis is known as having the biggest Delta chapter, I think, in the country. Is that still the case? What's happening?
That's correct. And there's a lot of competition with all of our Delta chapters and our committees. But Memphis over the years, and I tell people with Delta, I said, if you draw a 200-mile circle around Memphis, you've got the richest duck hunting heritage probably in all of North America. And it's extremely important to the Delta cause and creating the awareness. And, our peer DU has done fantastic things here in Memphis, and we want to make a bigger presence in Memphis. And the perception is a lot of it, we already do have a big presence here, but there's so much more that we can do for what Delta does, and that's direct duck production. DU has done a fantastic job, and we salute them all the time, at conserving wildlife or habitat, and I think they've done close to 14 million acres of habitat conservation, right? So what Delta does, and we did this back in the mid to late 90s. Mm-hmm. Delta got its start in 1911 by James Ford Bell of General Mills, and his premise to start Delta was hunters should be accountable for try to produce or create 2 ducks for every duck they take out of the duck blind. So if you're responsible for producing 2,
and he did that during the market hunting days. I mean, those were days of plenty. In theory. So a visionary thinker.
Yeah. Absolutely, Bill, and that was the whole thing. And in the early 1900s, the market hunting almost decimated waterfowl. And then we started in 1911. 1930s when we really got cranked up on the research, and that's been predominantly what we've done is research. Organization. back in the mid-'90s, what we started to do was, all right, let's take all this research, and we figured out what had the biggest impact on duck production. And what we did is we started to create hen houses and predator management.
Yeah.
And I know you guys have had John Devaney, our
Yes.
senior VP.
Oh, yeah. John's been on many times.
Yeah, he's fantastic,
Yeah.
and he's the walking Wikipedia of duck hunting.
He
so.
is, that's right.
And you won't get a word in edgewise when
No,
he starts talking. That's
no.
right. So, so what we did was started the predator management and hen houses. And if you leave, and I use this with donors a lot of times, I said what DE has done in conserving habitat has been phenomenal. But if you leave a duck to its own devices, you get a 10% duck hatch success rate. So if you think about that, even though you've got all this land, a duck left to its own devices only does, of all the eggs they lay, only 10%.
10%.
Yeah, and that's due to predator predation, and everything involved with that. So when we work to create ducks, when putting up hen houses, and we do predator management and contract all these trappers in the prairie pothole region, which for those out there that don't know, it's 176 million acres that encompasses Canada and a lot of the Dakotas, all the way down, even some into the Midwest. But it's called the Duck Factory.
Yes,
so,
it is.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's where for all 4 flyways, that's where all the ducks are created. 70% of the ducks are created. So to make a huge impact, my job as development director is donor relations, creating more branding out there for the Delta cause and getting more people involved, because the dollars that we raise at Delta go directly to duck production, right? So creating more ducks, putting more ducks in the decoys, right? So that's and I got involved back in late 2015. I'm a lifelong Memphian. Went to Christian Brothers, went to the University of Memphis, was in the waterfowl industry for several years, and then went into the investment banking business for almost a dozen years.
So you made a living for a while, and now you got back in the hunting business.
That's right. Now I'm back to
you have a
just
way of
scratching
putting
out
the
a living.
words.
Right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So. And this opportunity was presented to me by a couple of the board members who are here in Memphis. Two of our board members are here in Memphis, and they said, hey, this position's open. They knew I kind of had an interest in what I'd done in my past, and they said, we would like for you to kind of look into this. So I went back and forth with Delta, and we found that we had a lot of synergies between Delta and me and my connections here in Memphis and this whole region. So predominantly I'll be Arkansas and Tennessee, which, Little Rock, Memphis, Nashville, and Knoxville and everything else. And we want to get those hunters that are very passionate about ducks, duck hunting, and the future of duck hunting to get more involved and have a bigger impact with not only conservation of waterfowl now, but waterfowling in the future. So.
Well, I know that, and again, we're talking to Jeff Howell. He's a development director for Delta Waterfowl Foundation, based right out of Memphis. So you go to deltawaterfowl.org, find out lots of information. I'm kind of interested. Of course, he's a family man with 2 kids. One of them's even named, your daughter's name Avery.
That's right.
Which that's a familiar name.
Another Mid-South waterfowl icon.
That is right. And bless her heart, that's what she's got. That's
it wasn't by design, but it worked out that way.
It's worked out that way. I think it's pretty cool and everything. So as a duck hunter, and Bill has talked about this, you guys kind of hash out. Bill said there's not going to be the ducks have gone. I mean, we're not going to get any new ducks. We're not going to influx of new ducks you're not expecting.
I don't expect
large
it
numbers.
to suddenly. What you're going to see for the most part, in my opinion, for the rest of the season.
And I want to hear his opinion.
As the waters are dropping, the ducks are going to redistribute. West Tennessee has a world of ducks in it right now, but most people aren't seeing them and haven't been seeing them. But they're there, I promise you. As this water drops, they're on refuges, and then we had so much water they were able to spread out.
Yeah.
And they could pick and choose, and so you're either there with them or you're not. I talk to people that are hunting the same general area as me, and I said, man, I'm seeing 10,000, 15,000 ducks a day.
Yeah.
And they're seeing nothing. And vice versa. So the birds are around. As the water drops, they'll get more concentrated. More traditional places will start picking back up. And then as the seasons wind down, of course, the ducks will spread out. That's what we're going to see. Ducks right now want to start moving north this time of the year. You're seeing pairs everywhere you look.
Yes.
I mean, they're flying over in pairs. Don't even call at them. They have their deal going on. So, but as the shooting winds down, that's what we see during youth season. It's not a bunch of new ducks that have come in. Those are ducks that were here that spread out. They calm down.
Yeah.
So we'll start seeing that as well as we go into youth season. But it takes more and more as the year moves on for a cold front to move birds from the north.
And it's been such a crazy year.
It has.
I mean, if you're talking about November, December, 2 record highs. And
I won't call it the worst ever.
It's close.
I know a lot of people who would in their experience. But it has been tough.
Yeah.
It's been a tough year.
And I know from your experience, Jeff, I mean, you hear from people out in the field. What's some of the comments?
That's right. So I've been on some fantastic hunts this year, and everything Bill said is spot on. But I've been on some fantastic hunts this year, and I've been on hunts where we didn't see anything, just had and you get a lot of you're sitting in the blind with 5 or 6 guys, or you're in the duck club, and this is horrible. It's the worst season ever. Why do they keep telling us there's all these record numbers and everything? And this is one of those years. 13 and 14, those 2 seasons for most people were very, very good, and we had excellent breeding success up in the Prairie Pothole region. So we had great years. This is one of those years where the stars lined up not in our favor, really. And I don't want people – I try to sell this in the blind, not to get too discouraged about, when you go – and I use this analogy. It's not perfect, but when you go deer hunting, do you kill an 8-point deer every time you go deer hunting? No. But you continue to go, don't you? Because that hope and wish. Yeah. And, for a lot of guys, especially as we get a little bit older, it's not so much – it's not always about the deer hunting. It's about the experience and the camaraderie, and the deer camp. It's the same with duck camp.
And a deer can't move 200 miles overnight.
That's right.
And ducks do it all the time.
That's right.
It's can go feast or famine in a heartbeat.
I know it was coming to that. Now, so Jeff, folks can get in touch with you. You mind if I give them that email address?
Please do.
Yeah, that's jhowell, Howell, at deltawaterfowl.org. Shoot him an email because he wants to do some stuff here.
That's right. I'd love to get everyone involved, and please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I'm available 24/7.
Well, I think you need to be aware that we're getting into wild game dinners around this Mid-South.
That's right.
This area loves wild game dinners. I can tell you, I got 10 of them scheduled, and you need to keep up with that, and because these guys are grassroots hunters. I mean, would you not say that? I mean,
sure.
Because what they do in the Dakotas and things along that. And we're just glad to have somebody from here.
That's right. And no, I appreciate it. We call it clean the freezer dinners when we have our kind of
clean the freezer dinners. I like that. I like that, buddy.
So before we leave, I wanted to one quick thing. The youth hunts are coming up February 6th in Tennessee, Mississippi, and Arkansas. And my big thing is it's easy to take a duck hunter or a kid that hunts, right? Hunter retention is a big deal for us because we need to continue the support. We don't need any decline. We need to bring the kids back on. So I'd love to ask the listeners out there to go find a friend who doesn't hunt or his sons or daughters that don't hunt. And it's not easy to take a new hunter, but if you take those people and introduce them to waterfowl, that's where our numbers start to grow. We get more support. So,
yeah, that's what's
absolutely
amazing that Bill the 15th. This is his last youth waterfowl hunt.
Last year for you.
I just cannot believe you are getting old, man.
I am.
You are getting old. Wow. Jeff,
we're aged out, man.
Yeah, we are aged out. Yeah. You just wish. I'm just hoping you make it to me.
I'm in my prime.
Yeah. Jeff, thank you for being with us, buddy. Jeff Howell, and we'll have you back. Appreciate you taking time to be on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Let's take a break, come right back, and we're going to talk to a guy that thinks and is hoping for the 2016 Olympics as a wrestler, but he loves the outdoors. We'll be right back on ESPN 790.